I'm Domingo Barreras. I'm 84 years old.
Okay, my name is Lenore Tenenblatt, and we're here in my studio at 249 A Street. I've been down here since the beginning of things.
I'm Larry Maglot. I was a founding member of the Fort Point Arts community in Boston, and years I remember that were the beginning is 1978 to 1983. And it starts really with the JP fire.
Well, my story is that I had a studio in Jamaica Plain that burned. I was visiting New York at the moment, and I got back with friends. The building was on fire, so I had to stay with friends. The next day I went over there, the building was gone, so I lost everything.
People lost, artists lost everything, all their work, all their tools, a lifetime of work. It set all these artists out on the street looking for the next place, and the next place really was Fort Point.
People were known to each other, so artists knew each other. So if somebody showed up from Jamaica Plain or any other place, they usually knew somebody, or many people already knew them as working artists. And that was the important thing, is to have somebody who was really going to use the space for making art.
There's a freedom and a joy in being able to, if you want, nail something to the floor. And so it's not like a house in the suburbs. It's not like, it's sort of like living in a garage. The environment is fluid. Nothing is built in. Nothing is built in here. Everything can be moved. And I thought that's the way to live.
So we were the first ones to move into the neighborhood. But, cars parking was easy. But then other artists moved in. And the more people that came, restaurants open, the Children's Museum, Seaport, and every time that the contract was over, the rent was higher and higher. Finally, it got so high, this building came up for sale.
I think we all noticed that this was not forever, and that the only way to get something to let us survive was to buy buildings. So we started on that path.
And so 30 or 35 of us got together and wanted to buy it, so we didn't know how to do it. Somebody advised us that if we became a co-op, a bank would be easier to find a bank, and that would happen.
I started talking about forming an organization, and we got $2,000 grant, and it gave us two mentors, community organizers. It paid for them, and they met with us a number of times, and they were like our teachers because we were naive, and they were community organizers. You have to think back to the time. This is, the Freedom Riders in the South, and a lot of activism, anti-Vietnam War, community activism. So they were urban planners. They were two young people. We loved them, and the first thing they said is, you have to strategize your own replacement because you're going to get burnt out. So, everything they said, we did. And we hired a director through their help. We incorporated. We had a lot of angels come along, people that heard about us and heard about what we wanted to do.
And since we had a director, that gave us some legitimacy, and we attracted a lot of people who had a lot of skills in doing this. So this wasn't just artists who figured it out, but I remember the people, the early meetings were just open meetings where anyone who was interested in the concept of converting these buildings to permanent artist spaces could come, say their ideas. I know we had several people were real estate developers. One of them had just retired from doing large malls, for example. That was helpful. We had people who were lawyers, people who had political connections, and they were all just interested in adding, number one, what they knew, how do you do this, and number two, vouching for us as being stable people who, if we committed to getting some amount of money together, we could. We developed this building we had one small city grant at one time that actually didn't last very long. We developed it on our own money. You know, unlike probably currently, you could get some help from somebody to do this, but this was a new idea, and so I guess we all did it. There were a lot of people involved.
The one thing, I don't think I worried about anything, but I'll choose one thing, is that before we bought the building, we got together, we had meetings to discuss this and that, and then we would go out for lunch and hang around. Very nice. I was afraid when we moved in here, we wouldn't get any work done. We would always be hanging around. That didn't happen. Everybody got to work. My worries, I didn't have to worry.
Even if you were only interested in your space, you were interacting with a fairly good number of people. Then, of course, we started the open studio process, which was very early on. That was in the first year, I think, of when we got to know more people in sort of a focused way, more than just having a studio for yourself.
Our strategy was to not hide, and we put together the first open studios in 1978, the year that Susie and I took over space there and met all these people. And that was from some point of view, a woman's power thing. Susie and Linda Huey, really spearheaded the first open studios. We did publicity, we got publicity, we were cute, we were innocent, and our goal was to not hide, but to come out, so that would be our protection. We could become a force in the city by being noticed for the positive things we did to this neighborhood.
And it was very successful. The first one, everybody said, well, I think most people just said, this is a lot of fun. And I didn't even know this was here.
This year, though, things come together. There is the 45 years show, so everything is coming all at once. So this is for the show. Then I have the small ones for open studio. And I already sent the one for the 45. Some, almost said.
My name is Jessica Burko, and I am a visual artist, independent curator, and I have a business where I work with artists, teaching them how to do arts marketing for themselves, and I do private consultations on arts marketing.
My name is Nidhi. I'm an artist. I paint and I specialize in Indian art forms. So specifically from different parts of India, be it east and southern. So I do Madhubani, Kalamkari, Varli art, Gond, and recently I learned Shilp Shastra.
My name is John Dykes, and I have been a freelance illustrator for a long time, and more recently doing more gallery work and fine art work. My wife and I moved here to 249A Artist Cooperative in 2018, we love it here. I love my studio. The extra space here gives me the option and the availability to work larger, which is which is where I've been going since I've been here.
I actually grew up in the Atlanta area, and I've lived in Boston for about, I don't know how many years, 2010 at this point. And I came to Boston really for architecture school, and I decided at the point during architecture school that I would sort of pick up painting again after I got licensed in architecture and worked through that, because I grew up with art. I always drew since I was a kid, and I sort of knew that was something that I wanted to do. I actually wanted to work for Disney as a kid as an animator, but that didn't happen. So that's how I came to Boston. That's sort of how I sort of fell into art.
So actually, I first came across Fort Point Gallery in the year 2022 when I first moved to Boston, and I read great reviews on Google, and I also connected with other artists, and most of these artists are like much senior in age as well as in experience, and they all recommended that do try this gallery. One of the common topics that they spoke of is how safe the gallery is and how welcoming it is of diverse artists.
My studio has been in this South End building since 2006, and when I moved into the space, I looked for artist communities in and near the South End, and one of the communities I found was FPAC. And I didn't know if they would let me join or participate because I'm not actually in Fort Point, I'm sort of Fort Point adjacent. And they were so welcoming and so open, and I joined as a member.
Been one of the sort of unintended or unexpected benefits is this sense of family and connection that you have with others. So not only on a human level, but on an artistic level too. So there's other artists, other visual people, or that's really quite special.
Your work, and you can progress in it. But if the people around you aren't as supportive, or there is unhealthy competition, it will bring you down at some point. So when I look for spaces where I can show my work, I prefer a genuine staff or a genuine community, and that is what I sense over here.
I, a number of years ago, taught a couple of workshops, arts marketing workshops, about how to strengthen your experience with open studios. And I've been in a couple of exhibitions. I'm currently in the Members Show, the 45th anniversary Members Show. And also, I'm delighted to say that I'm in the process of curating an exhibition for FPAC that will be open during the Open Studios this October. And really, I have just found the community to be extremely inclusive and extremely helpful. I worked for a nonprofit arts organization, and we needed suddenly a gallery space. And FPAC helped us by loaning the gallery space in the 300 Summer Street building. And they were amazing in allowing us to use the space and helping get set up. So I really just can't say enough good things about everyone at FPAC.
It's been pretty difficult to get into any shows in the Boston area, so to be a part of the Fort Point Arts and be able to exhibit within Boston has been really great, to not only get an exhibit within Boston, but to get more eyes on the exhibit. I think especially the location of the gallery is a really prime spot, so I felt really good about getting into the Member Show and potentially other shows in the future. I think the gallery is in a really good location. Fort Point Arts is an organization that people in the area know about. So even with open studios, I've had people come into my studio and say, "Oh, I saw your show at the gallery by the crab restaurant." So I think it's really, visibility has been pretty good to have people recognize my work through Fort Point, and also be able to come to my studio during open studios has been pretty good.
The FPAC Open Studios, It will be my first time participating here. So for me, it's all first. So I'm a child in FPAC. You get so much feedback at Open Studios. What's working, what's not working. Like I learned over the years that children love my work. Little kids, when they come, they love my work. They go like, and they go like, oh, this. So I love that, and it's so honest.
It's a great event. We enjoy opening our doors to the public, and it's been a great experience all across the board. It's very festive. Sometimes I'll have family visiting or whatever, and they'll come over that weekend and experience it as well. It's been successful. You're able to reach out and reach to people who are looking for artwork, and so I've been able to make a number of sales through the Open Studios. And then the other piece was having my illustration background. We were looking to create some sort of some banners and some promotional material, and so I was interested in that, in the idea of publicly showing some of my artwork on a larger scale. So I'll have these bins of originals out at Open Studios, and there's some people that really enjoy going through these illustrations, and sometimes they'll pick up something that speaks to them, whether it's a place that they used to live, or a subject matter, or whatever. And it's nice because they can go home with an original, and I can start to lighten the load here with the illustrations that I really can't keep forever, and so I do offer them at an affordable rate, cut rate, and so that's been one of the fun aspects of my experience here, is that so I've got a lot of different things that people can go through.
Like in this current Open Studios, I think FPAC has a very strong name in the market. It is a big brand. It is not a small thing, because when I came to Boston from San Francisco, I didn't know much about the art galleries. I just searched art galleries where I could apply. Like someone like me who's not a big artist at all, and FPAC popped up, and just imagine, it's such a beautiful blend that it gives opportunities to those who are not established as such. It's very rare. So FPAC is a very big brand in my opinion, and I've heard it from other artists who are pass outs from RISDs and these big institutes, and they said that FPAC is a great place to be in. So it's already a very established brand, and I'm very grateful that I can even relate or even say that, yeah, I'm showing here.
Generally, artists are working alone in a room by ourselves. So being able to find other groups of artists to talk with, to bounce ideas off of, to share work with, to get input, to give input, it really changes everything. So being able to have that with an arts organization like FPAC, it changes being so isolated, and it makes being an artist more of an active interchange.